You waited a long time for this moment. What does it feel like at first, and what does it feel like when you deliver it in that way, where you're able to dance with the duck because things are going that well?
Yeah, it's been 2 years, man, and it's just a blessing to be able to play here at the University of Oregon, in front of a great crowd and great fans. But I think the best thing was just the way we moved the ball as a whole unit. Offense did a great job of protection wise. We had a great run game. First play was like I don't know how far the run was, but from that standpoint, when you have a good run game, you can have a good pass game. So we had a great job as a unit. Coaches prepared us the right way, and excited for the next week.
Front right here, Zach.
10 different guys caught passes today. How helpful is that for you in doing your job, knowing that you have so many guys around you that you can get the ball and trust them to do it in open space?
Yeah, it just proves that this class and this unit we have as receivers and tight ends and there's just skills we have is just unbelievable. I mean, as a quarterback, it feels great when other people catch the ball and as a unit you just feel more connected. Usually a lot of times it could be just one person, two people catching the ball, and other receivers kind of feel left out. But when you have great guys that can make contested catches, that can make the plays with the ball in their hand, it's easier for a quarterback just to put the ball out there and then they'll do what they got to do.
Back right, Chris.
Yeah, Dante, just looking at the final score and the final stats, it looks like this game was a mismatch. Did it feel like a mismatch while you were playing it?
I mean, Montana State, we always got to give kudos to them. 2 national championships in 4 years. Great squad, very competitive squad. They're always competing for a natty. So watching them on film, of course, you never want to underestimate your opponents. This week we attacked practice how we would attack any other day. And Montana State's a great team, of course. It just went our way this game, and of course, we pushed ourselves at practice, and the work we put in is just what helped us get our results. So, shout out Montana State, great coaching staff, great players, but I feel like the ball's on our side of the day, and we worked real hard for it.
In the middle, Matt.
You've been in DeCorian's shoes before, stepping on campus and instantly high expectations as a true freshman. How did you kind of see him navigate that before today, and then what did you make of his performance today and the impact he had?
Yeah, me and Corey have a very close relationship. Like the best thing with him is he's always wanting to work. I always train in Dallas before spring ball or fall camp, and just to get back on my toes and make sure that he was down there with me. Of course, I'm in his hometown, but just the extra work we put in. Of course, I know how it is when I was 17 on campus. I don't know how old he is, but it's just making sure that he's good. Clear mind. Make sure that he just attacks every day. I know it can be a lot on his plate, but a more to more thing is a great thing, and we love it and we appreciate each other. But he's always willing to work, and it proves that when the ball's in his hand, he's electrifying.
Stay right. Next one.
How much easier does the running game make your job when your back's not only able to create the explosive, just pick up chunks and create second and short, third and short that are then easier to convert for you?
Yeah, we have amazing running backs. I mean, it's just crazy how there's just so many great running backs in one squad, and it's kind of, it feels great when you look to your left and you have a new running back in because it's new, fresh legs, and they're going to get 5 yards a pop. So just having a great run game, of course, is the best thing. As an offensive unit, you always want to have the most rushing yards. So we did a great job, but really it starts up front in the front five. I mean, Pancho does a great job communicating everything, and we all move as a unit, and when the run game is there, so, everything's good.
Going back to DeCorian, on Gary's touchdown, he had that pancake block, and Dan said that he was blocking the wrong guy, but regardless, he still blocked him in the end zone, finished with him on the ground. What does that mean to you to see one of your teammates do that, especially a true freshman, and have that mean so much to him?
Yeah, he did block the wrong guy. It's crazy how it happens, but I mean, at least he did the right way. He made someone get on the ground. But I mean, he's always had that toughness. He's always had that swag of when my hands are on a defender that they're not going to make the tackle, that I'm going to finish the play. So I feel like our coaching staff does a great job when we're at practice, making sure that, we do mob bracket. We do the things of beating the ball on the perimeter and, driving, our legs and things of that nature. I'm saying it like I'm in the drill as well, but, I'm never in that drill. But our receivers did a great job and, on the perimeter, and, DeCorian is young, but don't let his size fool you. He's a guy that can attack you for sure.
Front left, Aaron.
Can you give me your impressions of Noah and what he did during training camp to maybe earn this job, and how you feel about starting with him in the backfield?
Yeah, I mean, Noah is an electrifying player. I mean, we kind of watched the Illinois clip of last year probably 100 times of him, of course, lowering his shoulder. But, I mean, the first play of the game, I mean, when you want to run outside zone, that's probably the best look you can have. And, of course, he broke the run, did a great job. But, I mean, when we have a run play called, and I just know that we're always gonna get 5 yards and the pop, and Noah's always gonna do that. He's always gonna find a way and make a play, even if it's stuffed. He's always gonna bounce it and make sure that he can, do great things. But I'm just blessed to have a running back room we have. And, it takes a lot of stress off on me.
Here on the right.
Hey, Dante. How much did you guys talk about wanting to make a statement today compared to the opener last year against Idaho and then the last game being the loss to Ohio State in the Rose Bowl?
Yeah, to be honest, it's kind of Coach Landon always says it's feeble. I mean, the only people that we really care about is the people that are in that room with us that go out there in that field. And, of course, last year you can say Idaho game wasn't the right way to kick it off, and it wasn't. This year we're not even thinking about Idaho game. We're not thinking about if we're going to come out flat. We're just thinking about how we're going to attack as a whole unit when it comes to the first drive. And, of course, as offense, you're hoping to get the ball first because you want to make sure you score first and get the drives going. But I feel like it's that feeble mindset is kind of what we had coming in, during fall camp and still is right now. So, we don't want nobody jumping on the train later, when things are going great. But overall, I feel like when we're all as a unit together and we care about each other in that room, we're unstoppable.
Right here on the left.
Last season, your first season here, you got to sit behind Dylan Gabriel, who played at this level for 6 seasons. What are some of the things that you learned from that you're taking into this season?
Yeah, preparation. Of course, Dylan was a guy that was a vet in the in college football, and just the way he prepared, the way he just attacked every day. That was my roomie, and when he was in the hotel together, and he's kind of a great guy because it'll be a point where like I'll quiz him, and it's kind of just if a defensive look happens, he'll be like, "Hey, what do you see on this look?" And he's always listening for feedback. You can be so grown at some point in in a league or whatever you're in, and you kind of don't want to hear feedback because you feel like you know everything. But Dylan always showed me you always want to learn, you always want to reach out, and Dylan, man, I love him to death. I miss him a lot, but he's taught me a lot about preparation.
Front left, James.
Dan was saying that of all your plays today, the one that might stand out most to him was the decision to hang on to it there on 3rd and goal and just hang on, take the 5 yards and set up the field goal. Walk us through that play where if in practice that you might have tried to get greedy before, you might have tried to force something before, as Dan was saying, that you make the decision that you do. And is that the play that you're most proud of that you made today?
Yeah, he cussed me out pretty bad during practice. He brings the fire for sure. But I love that as a coach. It's kind of, it just reflects back how my freshman year was, forcing throws and not making the right decisions. And things can turn out bad that way. And also he showed me the clips of, Dylan when he was here, like Michigan State game, red area, forcing throws. And as a quarterback, you always learn from the situations. And at practice, I've done it a couple times. It hasn't turned out the way I wanted it to turn out. So he's cussed me out 1,000 times. So I kind of hear him in the back of my head. And every time I'm scrambling, like, don't throw it, don't throw it. So I feel like it was great for me just to run out of bounds, get what I can get. Field goal unit comes out. We have Akis, who would never miss a field goal. He's always going to make sure he gets it in. But I feel like, that was a great decision for me. Made a lot of great decisions. Taking what the defense gives me, and we played great.
There are 2 more in the back middle here. And Matt.
Congrats on the win. I'm
Appreciate it.
curious, how do you go about your process of correcting your game despite like a big win today? I mean, you won a lot of big games in your career, but how do you kind of go about challenging yourself going forward with the rest of the season?
Yeah, there's a lot of great things. There can always be a lot of bad things, but of course, you want to enjoy the great things. You want to see the positive things that we did as an offense, but the bad things can be, late on a throw. It can be, it got caught, but, if you play against somebody else, it might be, batted down or just, just different ways to, show different body language on a certain play, different, checks on the run game. It's just, things to always learn from, of course. We did a great job protecting the ball, but I feel like personally with me, my biggest thing is first, felt good to be back, but getting my breath back. I mean, a lot of times when I'm on the field for a long drive, it's like, practice, you do a couple reps and get off, and kind of feels great when you have a long drive and you're pushing about 12, 13 plays. I just got to worry about, fitness, make sure that my breath is great because we can't breathe. You can't go out there and do what you have to do. But overall, a lot of great things to learn, a lot of things just to grow from, but I feel like as a unit, we do a great job, tomorrow, learning what's going on, Coach Lane and Coach Stein. But, yeah, we're going to learn from there.
Last question here in the middle, Matt.
Going back to maybe taking the simple play first, that drive, the 2-minute drive in the half, can you just walk through the plays and decision-making? Just how big of a confidence booster was that?
Yeah, 2 minutes, I mean, we practiced damn a lot at practice, like so much. And there's been points where we've had a great 2-minute drive as an offense, and the defense has a great 2-minute drive against us. And I mean, you practice it so much that when it comes to like how practice is, it's crazy because it's kind of the same situation. Like 1 timeout, 1 minute, you got to drive down the field. And I remember when I first was thinking about 2 minutes, I'm thinking about chunks, big plays, but that's not kind of how it is. You want to make sure that, of course, you want to move the chains and be alert for clocks, be alert for, getting the ball on the sidelines and that nature. But I feel like we did rep this so many times, and I took check downs to Makai, J Mac on the fallout. I mean, it's just so many great things that happen in the drive, and the post to Malik. But it's just kind of great when you practice something so much, and then when it comes to like the time we have to do it in the game, and you guys succeeded, and it's a great feeling. But I feel like as a whole unit, the way we pushed ourselves, tempoed, and it just felt great, and it was successful.